YoCo is short for York Central Co-Owned, and what we're trying to do is take another look at how we can develop a brownfield site on the edge of York called York Central, which is partly residential, partly old industrial and partly nothing at all really. It's a huge area, and there is a master plan for developing the area, and we've looked at it and thought, well, it's exactly as a master plan would be in the late 20th, early 21st century. And we as a community have come together and thought we can do better than this. So what we're looking at is how we can co-design a neighbourhood that's going to answer the questions of growing inequality, climate change, and poor design and fragmented communities. Pull all that together and have something that's affordable, attractive, and really serves the needs of future generations. In a nutshell, that's what YoCo's about.
The YoCo came about from a large-scale public engagement process called York Central, where we worked with all sorts of people to really explore the important issues for York and for York Central. And out of that came 8 big ideas. And to give you a few examples of those ideas, I included things like really affordable housing that was for people to live in, not for investment. And the idea that the whole of the site should be based around people and not cars. But one of the really intriguing ideas that came out of York Central was the idea of building a community on the York Central that was based in exchange. And it's really this idea that YoCo has been developing. One of the really important things about YoCo is it's really a response to very particular local circumstances. So in York we have one of the greatest housing inequalities within the north of England and significant economic inequality. And so YoCo is an intervention that will seek to create genuinely affordable places for people to live, start-up spaces for local businesses and community space that will really build a fantastic community and that will hopefully influence the rest of York Central and provide a model potentially for the whole of York.
A place where people come there, who want to be there because of what goes on there. So it's not about it being pretty or it being of high quality in terms of architecture. It's about a place where there's a mixture of people and a mixture of activities, and that enables the place to be exciting and to function and do things that people want to do. I think bringing local people on board, people generally when they buy into an area set standards which are higher than standard developers do. So encouraging self-build or community-led projects immediately enables people to set targets that they want rather than simply being about lowest common denominator stuff. People can choose to have areas, for example, which are car-free and which are safe for children. Standard developer might balk at that, but local people can choose to do better. So I think there are loads of opportunities to do things which would make this part of the city more sustainable, simply by people raising the bar themselves and setting the agenda.
I think we've got this opportunity to make a really vibrant part of the city that can support and really facilitate a lot of creative stuff happening. We're really, really excited to be working with a company called Matt and Fiona alongside lots of different volunteers and people from the creative industries to do some brilliant stuff with the community centre, hopefully on York Central. So what we're trying to do with the project with Matt and Fiona is bring in the local kids from the local area from 2 different schools to really not just tell us what they want, but also come design it and build it and then use it and see how it works for them. So it's definitely about like creating something really functional and practical. So we've already really started talking to the local community. We had a workshop online where we dreamed about what kind of a space we wanted to see on York Central. And there was loads of amazing things coming out of that, and you can have a look on the website and find out a bit more. But it's really like making sure that people feel welcome and they feel like they can have a say in the things that happen here. So what's going to be really exciting is to build that together and to design it together so that everyone feels like they've had a part in making the space.
It's great to live around here. I, like everyone else, just come out of a pandemic, and my most inspiring observation was how communities came together and filled the gaps that we're missing in our society.
It's good. There is a vibrant community.
There's so much goodwill and interest in communities that I believe something like YoCo would really act as a brilliant vehicle to further that.
It'd be nice to get to know people a bit better, further afield than just immediate neighbours.
A bit more wildlife, because I once saw a bit more houses. If there were more nature and wildlife, more play equipment in the back park, some more fun things to do, like hanging out with friends.
More play equipment at parks.
Yeah.
Usually just sports and playing. I like playing with my friends because I have loads of friends near where I live. I like going to the park. I would like going to stuff like the fair, church, playground. Do lots of parties. Play with my friends or hang out.
Play games.
Like normal you. I think that it depends on what country. I would think of what country they are in and what they usually do. Maybe they like the sun. Maybe they would like to protect wildlife and play. Maybe play football or something. Maybe they'd like to sketch other things and play around their friends.
Mainly the same as us.
Some sort of local fun fair that can move from that park to this park and just all around York, so that we have some sort of local fun fair. Maybe like a race or some sports. Less driving around, more biking. I would like to help wildlife more. Maybe make more community around here. Maybe we can make lots of flowers. Make more stuff to play with.
Make stuff that all the children can play with and all that.
One of the sort of universal traits with young people is actually the more they are entrusted and empowered with ownership of ideas and responsibility, the more they grow and they are able to shape the things around them. And that's not just their built environment. So I think one of the biggest things that we underestimate is the ability of young people to contribute equally in an adult world.
They're very experimental and they almost don't like rules. So I think that's something that always comes across in a lot of Matt and Fiona projects, but also just in general working with children, that they love to break rules really.
Working with children in York to enable them to think about what, in addition to the new homes and the new houses, do you need in order to make a community really thrive? And so we're encouraging them to come up with ideas for what makes this place a home in the broadest sense.
So we've engaged people in the conversation that perhaps they didn't know was occurring before, and I think by local people coming together and acting on something within their vicinity, you can start to make those connections to the wider global challenges. So climate change, for example, is one, and for someone who's got a background in architecture, that idea that being sustainable is something that's preserved for the rich. And I think that actually by thinking about affordability and by thinking about those issues around inequality, actually you really start to open the minds of people that maybe hadn't thought that these challenges are something they could take on.
Anyone who supports YoCo's aims will be able to become a member, and you will have a democratic role in that process and in YoCo. YoCo really is it's all about local neighbourhoods. It's York Central Co-owned, and we're all about associated neighbourhoods on the York Central development.
We're really excited about World Localization Day. We're really excited about the work that Local Futures is doing, and what YoCo is trying to become is part of that globalized local movement, if you understand. So we're taking that localized approach, we're doing things at a local level, but we are so much more powerful if we can come together with other communities across the world, in every country, every part of the world.